Hey folks, what's going on? I am Pruitt. Hope you're doing well. And in today's video, we're going to talk about using actions inside of Photoshop. So what are actions inside of Photoshop? Well, think of actions as macros that you would run inside of another application, except inside of Photoshop, you're not necessarily changing cells or things like that. You're actually creating particular actions within your editing workflow. It's pretty easy to do. You just have to set it up in the beginning, but after that, you have that action for as long as you have that software, and it'll just totally speed up your workflow. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and hop on into Photoshop and show you how to set up your action. Now, if you remember back to a previous video where I talked about using a high pass filter to process an image and make it a lot sharper, that was quite a few steps. I have now set up an action called ant sharpening that allows me to do all of that within one click. And if I scroll through these, you'll notice all of these steps are part of the action. So what we have to do to set up a new action is just record the screen essentially and allow it to be saved as an action. If you don't have an action icon inside of Photoshop, you go to Window and then select Action and it'll show up for you. To set up a new action, there's a couple things you have to keep in mind. First off, try to use the actual menus and physical clicks that you would use in Photoshop as you're trying to edit your photograph. Shortcut keys work, but every now and then they get a little bit wonky in my experience. But I found that if I'm just doing everything through the menu clicks as I'm setting up the action, it works every time. To set up a new action, just click on the flyout menu here and select New Action. And we're going to name this action. I'll just say Demo Sharp and just click Record. And now Photoshop is recording my screen. And I want to go through and set up an action for using the high pass filter and frequency separation. So my typical step would be to duplicate this first layer. So I'll go up to my layer menu and I'll select Duplicate Layer and click OK. And I always duplicate it twice, so I'm going to duplicate it again. Call it Layer 2. Next, I will add it to a group, so I'll select both of these, and then I'll select to add to a group, or Control G. When that's done, I will create smart objects for each of those layers. I won't right click. I will click on the layer, select Layer Menu, select Smart Objects, Convert to Smart Object. And I'll do the same thing for the other one. Layer, Smart Objects. And then I will jump into adding my filters. So we'll say Blur, Gaussian Blur. We'll leave it at 5.2 and click OK. And we'll do our sharp filter, high pass. We'll leave it at 6 or 5 or so. Click OK. And then we'll change the blend mode to linear light. Okay. And now we pretty much have set up the high pass filter. So once you're done with that, just click Stop on the recorder. And that's it. As you can see here, my demo action is now saved. And if I expand it, you'll see that all of my steps are showing. Now, if I want to come back in and open up another image, and I want to do my typical sharpening, I just select that particular action and hit the play button, just like so. So let's go ahead and just open up another image. Open. Let's pick a random photograph. Let's go with this airplane. Okay, so now this image is open and I'm going to unlock the background layer, and I'm going to select my demo sharp action, and I'll just click the play button. And there you go. All of the layers duplicated, the smart objects were created, the filters were applied, and we have a much sharper image within less than a second. Here's a compare and contrast. So let's look at the before, and now let's look at the after. Not bad. So there you have it. That's how you create an action inside of Photoshop. Go ahead and give it a try, and let's see just how much faster your editing workflow goes.